Okay, this is artist SEAK Claus Winkler from Germany. This video is an artist's performance, an art performance, and also an artwork itself. Saying this also for legal reasons, because here in Germany we don't have free speech. And I'm talking about my art here in this video. Usually I have a teleprompter app, so that's how I did the last I don't know, 10 or how many videos in German language where I was like painting those highlights here, those white highlights. Yeah, and so I should go in with a question and answers, but now I have to freestyle it and there's no script. So, why I'm painting? Maybe I should ask myself why I'm painting, so then, or what these paintings are doing with you. There are lots of perceptions how my art works. For example, this letter here is like the small a. It's like a body with a hole, a lower serif and the upper serif. And I painted this all around the world in almost 28 countries. The most wall paintings I did was, say, in the 90s and beginning 2000s to 2010s. And from 2000 on, I was mainly working in my studio. Yeah, what is my artwork doing with people? It depends on how you want to perceive or how good you are observing yourself. Like, what is it doing with the people in your house when you have my art? It's a matter of how good you observe things and recognize patterns, and how I'm with my work steering people and the subconscious, and how much you trust the hunches you are getting from watching. Usually, I mean, if you are an Unternehmer, and say like someone who owns a company, and you have the luxury of working on your company instead of working inside your company, then you have the time and the skill set and maybe the open mind to observe also how my work is perceived in your surrounding and with your people, and how it will inspire them. And this is, I'm giving you a hint, it is connected with my name also, SEAK Claus Winkler, SEAK Claus Winkler. And yeah, so there are lots of patterns. What we can do is, if you make it financially attractive for me, aside buying my work, or on top, of course, you must also buy the work or should buy the work, then we can make like I can accompany you, and we can make like a deal that I follow you, or we stay in contact, and then you can how I say that, yeah, tell me what's happening in your surrounding, and I'm asking questions and what you've observed, and then we can learn both on how my work, my pieces, my oeuvre is influencing and what kind of effects it has. Because I'm doing this already with my possibilities, with my clients or former clients or collectors, however you want to call it, people who own my work, to reckon patterns, because pattern recognition as a businessman or someone who owns a company, and the German word for that would be Unternehmer. You're probably doing that anyway. So yeah, my work is mixed media. So for example, when I'm filming here, works on paper. I painted from 2011 or 2010 to now 2026. And for example, here I thought in 2013, oh, this is already finished, but that was just my ego, because I kept on painting, and it's like multi-layered pieces, which are still growing and growing, and at each, because I'm working in a work routine, rotation. It's, for example, those pencil sketches are from 2013. Then they're still growing. Yeah, the thing is that I'm working I call it a rotation. I used to paint like a wall painting, like a SEAK style, like this. Like say there's the S, the E, the A, and the K, in large, say 2 meters by 8 meters on a spray cans, somewhere at a wall, okay, in a few hours, or when it was an illegal train, maybe in 40 minutes, or maybe in 15 minutes, in full color with lots of shades and 3D effects and everything. It was always a pleasure when I painted with artist colleagues who were just painting illegal, that I could surprise them that the legal artist is also, when it has to hold it down, is delivering much faster than they thought. Ego crushing maybe for my illegal friends, of my illegal colleagues. Anyways, so the point is that I started in 2000, around 2000, when was that? 2011 or 12, 13. Also painting on the back sides, also of my canvases, because I wanted to, you get stifled when you paint a lot, and you want to, not when you paint a lot, but you get stifled, security creeps in, and then creativity dies. So you must be confident enough to experiment things and to try new things. So I thought, let's paint on the back sides, because they don't count, so you can try out new things. So I did that, and then I started also painting on the back sides. And the point is that I wanted to increase my production. So for this, no social life, pure efficiency. On that Soviet Russian, Bolshevik Russian T-34 as a monument in my family's village hometown in what is these days occupied Russia, in East Prussia. When I was there in 91 or 90, visiting with my parents, was speaking a loud message that we have to do masses, or had increased production in terms of being. But I also German, I want to deliver on a higher technical level. So I decided in 2011, 12 to make, maybe or 13, one work step at each piece, which is in my possession, in my studio, to increase my productivity. Like say I'm painting for a few months just the first layer of those dots, and then at a later stage, maybe a year later, when I'm finished with all the dots, I'm doing the next layer, and then maybe with spray can or something, or I'm working just now for like a few months just with airbrush into every piece. This had with this I could increase my production. Doesn't have to be so concentrated, can be more focused. It's also chunking when you want to think in terms of NLP. I can listen to audiobooks while doing it and focus on the audiobook while being productive. Then I can have different aesthetics and flavors in the same painting. Because when I was in the 90s, I painted a lot with colleagues. For example, this is a sketch from the 90s I glued into this piece, this paper piece. So I thought maybe it's boring when my stuff always have the same mood, the same aesthetic, the same vibe. So I was trying to hit lots of different taste buds. So for this, I thought, okay, let's have, when I paint, for example, 3 months those dots, and then I'm painting with another technique the next 3 or 4 or 5 months, or a year, then I have a different flavor, a different aesthetic, a different mindset, a different person, and I can collect all these different personas or flavors or mind school, thought processes, thought school in one painting, or in one drawing, or in a mixture of a drawing and a painting. Then I'm creating also more surprise and more possibilities of surprising myself, because that's the beauty of painting. When you try something new and it's different and you continue painting a piece, then it's like, oh, this is turning out really nice. I'm really like, wow, I didn't thought that. So it's maybe like you have a pessimist, realistic life perspective, and then you can surprise yourself, and you can see that your actual work pays out, that it makes a difference, a change, I mean, in a positive way. This is, for example, a small A on paper, and for me, it's unusual to paint it this small, because usually something like this I would paint in 3 meters by 4 meters or something. Let's say the size of, or maybe I don't know, or maybe in 12 meters by, I can also paint this in 12 meters by 20 meters, but then I probably need a compressor and roller paint and stuff like that. So painting it this small or even smaller is very unusual for me, at least. But now you seeing it here on paper is, it's something that you are used to. But these are basically colorful sketches or training. I'm training also. It's an experimental field. Attention field where I can experiment my process, try new things, be confident, courageous in how I use colors, break my own rules, while letting enough standing so I can painting grows into like some interesting thing I would never have came up with when I have thought about it consciously. You know, that's the trick. Like. Forcing myself into, I would never have come up with a formula or with an aesthetic like like this, but there's ways to fool or to trick myself into create something like this by surprise. You know, it's like when you're trying to do something consciously, you can just get on a certain level, but there's ways how to train yourself or to use situations or circumstances or create circumstances where you can work with the subconscious, with the unconscious, and then it creates a totally different level, which then becomes interesting. And because I have these things growing without thought, without conscious thought, over a long distance, that's so far it's 16 years, it triggers, steers, inspires, creates its own intelligence, which then reflects in everyday life, while I'm, because it's basically like a computer code or an answer or a way to steer the wires in my mind, in my brain, in everything, and it has its own logic. Yeah, and it's very experimental. Considering me painting my typical styles, if you check my wall paintings from the 90s, they look like 3D, I mean it's the same style, but it's 3D naturalistic representational wall paintings, spaceships based on ladders, etc. And here it's also still based on that, but I'm playing with different ways of illustrating them. I'm debunking them, deconstructing them, putting them new together, also playing with other things, trying to on purposely not painting nice or trying to fake that I can't paint and create a new aesthetic from this, or painting contra-intuitive in terms of efficiency. Then I had like some kind of thing here with wittiness and stuff like that. Playing with different materials. For example, here this is oil. Mixing all kinds of different medias and everything. So I'm inspired in the beginning of 2000s. I already had the reputation of being very influential on the new school in the graffiti movement, or on a lot of people, or most people, and it creates also lots of envy and jealousy, of course, but also people like from America that came to Germany painting with me, and it was painted with lots of different people, became invited in lots of countries all around the world. And then since then, if I quote like Jesus from the Midwest, from the US, I mesmerized the scene with my mixture of technique and style. And on Wikipedia for many years they were just referring to my technique because it's it's leftist, it's envious, so they were like trying to belittle me in a way, It's like how it usually goes. So it's important to not give a shit and keep on keeping on. And yeah, I'm keeping it here, but not talking about society or demographic things or noticing or anything. I'm just keeping it. Yeah, this is, for example, a K, believe it or not. Upper bow, lower bow, lower right bow I put up, and then this is the upper right bow. It looks also like a wing, like the wing from like a white nationalist or white nation, or like the German eagle from 1945. But it's I shortened it because when I painted with different people and say enlarge, and this would be like 2.5 meters. There was the next artist colleague painting next to me, so I had to be shorten it so that everybody gets equal space on the wall. This here is a small a hole with a body with a hole, the lower hook here and the upper serif hook here. And those antennas are also something I came up with in the late 90s as a substitute to the classical arrow. This is another S here, which has like some kind of like Messerschmitt Me 109 side silhouette aesthetic, or like a lowrider, chopper lowrider. This is like a small E, a body with 3 holes, and here's the lower bow. But they also painted that this can also be integrated like a large E, like a capital E. And this is a small A, like an upper bow, which is kind of like disconnected, and then goes here, and you can turn this, and then this is a body with a hole, and this is the lower bow. And this is also my signature letter, what I'm most known for. And it's also based on, obviously, a phallus symbol, but it's also based on my competition Pro Extra joystick when I was playing on the Amiga 500 with computer games, with the right hand, of course. So this is like the K. Again, the upper bow I put up like this, which is tricky because like a counter diagonal is always something which is like leaving or going away or getting less, but which is kind of also negative, but which is also but then healthy because you learn hard and you have to always be reflective and stuff like that. But I've painted it like an Air Force, Luftwaffe, Wehrmacht, SS, how you want to call it, like wing, like the wings from, but the thing is, in the German word wing, or the English, it's like the wing of a bird, but in Germany, wing means Flügel, and in the word Flügel, you have also Leim inside. Lüge means, part of the word Flügel is Lüge, and Gel, okay, but Lüge means also a lie, so it's kind of like tricky. It's everything, yeah. So similar with colors, every color has positive and negative effects, and it's like always a trade-off. But it's the more you know, it also steers in the other direction. This is another small A, which is in size. I would consider this small, like it's like almost like a miniature. I mean, I can also paint it smaller, but in reality, for example, where I'm coming from, this should be 2 meters by 1.5 meter, 2 meters in size at least. So this is painting like this, and I painted this over 16 years. This is just an example and with as much different techniques as possible, just to make it complicated for me and also interesting. And I used here roller paint I bought in the beginning of 2000s for wall painting, spray paint, marker, brush, airbrush. Probably in a later stage I will also use oil. I did these spirals to create inner happiness, but also like spiraling into control, into self-control. Yeah. So this is also another piece which is growing in all. I mean, at no point or at no stage, let's say in 2013, I the first time thought this was ready, and that was like there was far less on this. Anyway, at no stage in my paintings I thought it will turn out like this, and I still don't know in which direction it will go, because my my thought processes on my opinions, how I paint or what I want to do or play with or try or work with, is always different. And it's but then also I can't, let's say, certain things I don't want to overpaint because I want to keep it, otherwise it wouldn't make any sense. So it gets more and more difficult to do something with the pieces, and it gets also political because you don't know what you want to overpaint, what is important. Yeah, part of the fun here, you see it here as a signature, because this was in the beginning. I just thought I'm doing a larger signature on the back, but in a way my work started as a signature, because when you paint your name, it's kind of like a signature, and it developed into full paintings. Yeah. I completely forgot what I wanted to say. Yeah, for example, like one way of painting is not taking yourself serious and making jokes, like in terms of like completely, or like it's like Dadaismus in a way. When you paint, you can work like this. You can make jokes. You're taking on purposely making jokes about oneself and behaving like a little child on speed and on espresso, and completely overdriving, and then changing the subject and making jokes, or maybe using like improv theater, 1, 2, 3, I'm this, that person, whatever technique is possible to get into a zone where you then try something, play something with the painting or with something, and not taking it serious, and then it creates like wow, and then at some point it's like you recognizing what you're holding something there which is like really interesting. These things here are not painted like this because then there was already more thought to it. So this breaking free thing, and yeah, it's also when you sketch letters or illustrate something, one way is to make jokes about yourself while painting and what you're doing, and then it creates like really beautiful situations and creativity. It's yeah, it's I don't know, I'm lacking words. This is a SEAK tag which just became with all the highlights really dramatic almost. And here in the background, I just sketched different ideas on how I can do it. Not even trying to have like a nice tag, for example, in graph writer circles, those tags wouldn't be considered stylish or cool or anything, but because it's me, because of my history in graph, I guess they then have a different perception on this. Yeah, those highlights are from a few days ago, from 2 days ago or something. And the green tag itself, I did probably in 2013 or something, as you see here. And then it's still growing. And this is like something light where almost nothing is on. So I'm doing another video, and this is just the first video. And this is those sketches here. These are basically like not sketches, but these paper pieces are like part of my process to then later parallel work on my canvases too. So I realized that in my artist career I won't start any new small paintings. I have to continue my paper paintings, my canvases, and because I'm painting them also from the back side, which is something I learned here on those paper paintings. And in the future, if I start new paintings, I will just paint much larger formats. It's like 2.50 by, or 2 meters by 4, 5, 6 meter and larger. And the other question is also with the demographic collapse. The question is, does it make sense to paint art for what society? And everything, birth rates and stuff like that. So yeah, sounds like crazy or silly or stupid and not appropriate, la di da di da. But yeah, this is a huge problem we're having facing. Maybe I will work my art or may integrate something into my art. Maybe if there is something that steers people into having more children. Yeah. So check out the next video I'm doing my work. Check out my shorts, my long videos. If you have any questions or ideas what I should video myself about or talk about, drop it in the comments. Yeah, and thank you for your support.